Remember that time when Donald Trump wanted to buy Greenland? Yeah, that actually happened. In 2019, the news broke that he'd been kicking around the idea of the US purchasing the world's largest island. People were baffled, amused, and maybe even a little bit terrified. It was like something out of a satirical headline, except it was real life, because of course it was. The reactions were priceless. Some folks thought it was a joke, a publicity stunt from a president known for his unorthodox ideas. Others saw it as a power grab, a land-hungry billionaire trying to expand his portfolio. The internet, as always, had a field day. The best part? Trump wasn't even the first US president to try this. Way back in 1867, Andrew Johnson's Secretary of State looked into buying Greenland and Iceland. Then, in 1946, Harry Truman offered Denmark a cool $100 million for the place. So, maybe Trump was onto something, or maybe he just had a thing for vintage real estate deals. So, why all the fuss about Greenland? Well, it's not just a giant ice cube. This frosty landmass is strategically important, economically tempting, and geopolitically fascinating. Think of it as the cool kid at the Arctic Circle party that everyone wants to be friends with. Firstly, Greenland is sitting on a potential gold mine of natural resources. We're talking rare earth minerals, uranium, oil, you name it. China's already sniffing around trying to get its hands on these resources. Naturally, the US doesn't want to be left out in the cold. Secondly, its location. Nestled between North America and Europe, Greenland is like the ultimate Arctic lookout point. Whoever controls Greenland has a strategic advantage in the region. Think military bases, monitoring stations, and maybe even some sweet, sweet ice hotels. Finally, let's not forget about climate change. As the Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes are opening up, and Greenland is right in the middle of it all. Controlling those routes could be a game changer for global trade and naval power. Now let's talk motives. What was Trump really after? Was he just trying to distract from the latest scandal? Was he angling for a Nobel Peace Prize by preventing an Arctic war? Or did he genuinely believe he could just buy a country like it was a timeshare in Florida? Some folks reckoned it was all about the Benjamins. Trump's a businessman, and Greenland's resources must have looked awfully tempting. Imagine the deals, the contracts, the beautiful mines he could build. Plus, sticking it to China in the process wouldn't hurt either. Then there's the whole national security angle. Russia and China are beefing up their Arctic presence, and the US doesn't like to be left behind in any arms race. Greenland, with its strategic location, could be the key to maintaining American dominance in the region. Or maybe, just maybe, it was all about the legacy. Imagine the headlines. Trump makes America great again by adding Greenland. It would be the ultimate power move, a real estate deal for the history books. Denmark, however, wasn't too keen on the idea. See, Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, kind of like a rebellious teenager who still relies on their parents for allowance. And Denmark was quick to remind everyone that Greenland wasn't on the market, no matter how many billions Trump threw at it. They were pretty polite about it, though. The Danish Prime Minister called the whole thing absurd, while Greenland's government issued a statement saying, "We're open for business, not for sale." It was a diplomatic way of saying thanks, but no thanks. The internet, of course, exploded with memes. There were Vikings chasing off Trump's private jet, polar bears guarding the Greenlandic border, and maps of America with a giant sold-out sign over Greenland. The whole episode was a wild ride, a strange mix of geopolitics, economic ambition, and good old-fashioned Trumpian absurdity. It left the world wondering, was it a serious power play or just another one of Trump's wacky ideas? The answer, my friends, is lost somewhere in the Arctic winds, along with Trump's hopes of owning a giant ice island.